Hello, happy Flossy Friday. It's the end of the week and I'm glad. I'm glad I don't have to go to work in the morning. I hope you've all had a good couple weeks. I've had a good couple weeks. Got lots of stitching done. Just been working on projects around the house, which I have to say that I will be glad when all the projects around the sorry, I feel like I have a little hair flying around there. When all the projects around the house get done, I'm tired of projects. I don't want to paint the bathroom. I don't want to cut the molding. I don't want to caulk the trim. Yeah, I'm just tired. I don't want to finish the stairs. Yeah, there's just so many household projects. Like it sounds like we're in the middle of a big remodel, but we're not. It's just lots of projects that we've gotten started, and you just work on them a little bit at a time as you get done with your day and find a couple hours to work on them, and I'm just ready to be done. Because really I just want to sit on my bed and stitch, especially when it's cold, or in my chair here. I just want to sit and stitch. I don't want to do other things. I want to make warm soup. I want to have yummy bread, which is always a struggle because I have celiacs, and so yummy bread is occasional. I've been trying to make some of my own, and making bread without gluten as to be the structure is interesting. And I'm glad that there are people that cook out there that have been able to figure those things out, because I can't figure them out. So I'm very happy to follow their recipes. But anyway, when it's cold, I just want to sit and stitch. I don't want to exercise, I don't want to clean the house, and I definitely don't want to do projects. I just want to do my projects, not like house projects. And so, yeah. But I've been busy. I've been busy and kept myself occupied while we wait things out here in this year or two of COVID. But I did get lots of stitching done. I know that I showed you just as an update, my mother called after my last video and said, "You made me sound like I'm dead." And I said, "Well, what do you mean? I didn't make you sound like you were dead." And she says, "As you're walking around your room showing them like this," it's like, "Well, this was my mother's, and this was my mother's, and this was my mother's." And she says, "It makes it sound like I'm dead." And she is not dead. And I haven't talked about her very much just because she's not here at the moment. She's back at my brother's and planning on coming out again this fall. But she's not here at the moment. And so even though she sends me, like, I talk to her most days. Some weeks it's every day, a couple times a day, and other weeks, like when I get in not a funk, but where I'm just like super quiet and I don't feel like being on the phone all the time, then I will go for a week and not talk. But in general, I talk to her every day. And she sends me an email every day, like we email back and forth. She'll email me when I get into work, like it's there waiting for me in my mailbox, and like, "This is what I've done today." So I will include right here, I'll try to remember to put in an update on my mom and all of her stitching, because she has had a lot of stitching. She's been very busy stitching, and the last week or two she's been working on dyeing some fabric. And we're sad because we're not together where we can dye our fabrics together and chatter. So it's been interesting. But no, my mother is not dead. I did not inherit all these things because she passed away. I inherited them because we sold her house, and she is living at my brother's house right now. And so some of her things came to live with me. And I'm happy about that, because they remind me of, when you grow up. They were things that were around the house and remind me of my mom and my dad. So I'm happy to have them here. But she is alive and doing well, and actually gets her COVID shot next week. So I will be very happy, very relieved, because that has been a concern. So that's just a quick update there. But on to my stitching. I know I showed you this last week. Let's see if I can get it right side up this time. I showed you this that I was working on for my niece. It is from the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine. It's been in, like, the information about that is in my notes from the last couple ones. And the things that I had to do last time on this, because it was done, like all the stitching was done, and I was literally down to just like putting on the last random beads. And so I got those on. In fact, I added a couple extra ones because I like beads. I like a little bling bling. And so I'm very happy to get that done. And it's not pressed, it's not laced up, it's not matte, like none of that is done because I'm still waiting on the picture frame, and who knows when that'll get here. Hopefully soon, because I would like to get it to her. Of course, if I do something different and it can just hang out on my wall until her frame gets there and I can enjoy it, because I am not making me one anytime soon. Yeah, the tone on tone was not, it was fun for a while, but apparently I get easily bored. So it will be something I'll have to intermix with other stitching when I decide to stitch one for me. The things I did stitch on this week, or that I did, let's see, let's start with this. So this last week, in fact last weekend actually, I got, let's see if I can go to the front. I'm going to show you on my phone instead of on my iPad, because I'm taping on my iPad today. I got, and so it's not going to be as cute, like picture-wise, as it is on my iPad. So I was watching Jen Lee, and I was watching her and her mom. They were doing the 24 hours of cross stitch marathon weekend, which was fun to watch. It was fun to watch them. It was fun to watch them interact together, and to listen to the things that they were going to be watching and see what they were stitching on and see how much they could get done in 24 hours of stitching. But she did a planner, she did a planner for 2021, and I got it because she has made it so that it has, let's see, can I do this without making my phone rotate? No. Oh, I could if I did this. Let's turn rotation off. So she made it so that it has all of these little areas that you can keep track of in this planner. So if you are a digital person, which I kind of am, I'm a gadget girl, it really appealed to me a lot, because I have been working on digitizing all my paper patterns, all the patterns that I have gotten over the last, oh my gosh, has it only been a couple years? A couple years, so that I can use my iPad to keep track of where I am on my stitching, because I find it easier to cross it off there. And so she has all these, like, you can keep track of it has a planner in it, like an actual like calendar planner where you can do month or week. You can keep track of your WIPs. It has an inventory, marathons, friends, extras, miscellaneous. And then each one of those sections is also broken down into different areas. Like this is the inventory section. Here's the little tabs: fabric, patterns, and floss. And then there's other tabs that you can go in and fill out. Like I'm going to make one tab my books. Yeah, like I have other things that I'm going to keep track of in those other little sections. And then, yeah, you can keep track of that. And so I have been working on this week. I had a glitch the first day, which made me super, super sad, because I had listed out all of my fabric and I had to like reload everything. But it wasn't anything that had to do with Jen Lee or her planner. It was 110% user error. I could not get something to work, and so I had to like delete everything. And when I mean delete everything, I mean like delete the planner, re-download it, and then work from there. So I've been working on re-entering all of that. But so I've been putting my and like I said, I'm sorry that it's on my iPhone. So I've been entering in my pattern inventory, which you're not going to be able to read that, and it doesn't matter. But so it has a section for like the pattern, and then designer, the stitch count, the call for fabric, and any floss notes that you want to put in there. And the reason I downloaded this to my phone is just so that I could have my inventory with me when I actually go someplace, because a couple weeks ago I bought same pattern twice. Like I had bought it before and I bought it again. So that was a problem, and I don't want to repeat that. So I've been slowly putting things in. I broke it down into, like I have a page, this is a page for all of my blackbird designs. And so I'm listing all of those there. And then I also have them alphabetically because I'm insane. Because I like organizational stuff, and to me, I might remember the designer sometime, but I might not remember the pattern name, or I may remember the pattern name and not remember the designer. And so I'm going to do it both ways. But they also have, and I love this, she has a place for your floss inventory, and then like all the different ones, like Color and Classic, and I can't even see it from there, DMC, General Arts, MPI, Weeks, yeah. So you can list all those in there. So I'm very excited, and that's why I have it on my phone in addition to my iPad. So I'm very excited about that. And then the planner part, I click over to that. And she has a whole video of this. Like she did a walkthrough of her planner. It was great. Super, super helpful if this is something you decide to do. And I've been using the planner part because they have a planner, they have a month calendar. And then she also has it broken down week by week. And so I have been using this not only for my cross stitch, but like for everything. It's just easier for me to have everything in one spot. And so I've been keeping track of my stitching. And apparently I think I have 95 hours in the day because look, like each day I have something listed, like 3 different things listed each day. Like I think I'm going to have all the hours in the day to stitch and do nothing else. But the reason I was showing you this, in addition to the fact that it's very cool, especially if you're a little like OCD organizational, which is half of my personality, because the other half of my personality is just plain crazy chaos. Maybe it's part of being a Gemini. Organizational on one side and super, super messy chaotic on the other. I think that's what my family would attest to. But the thing that I thought was fun that I've been doing this month that's been keeping me entertained is one of the little things on the planner side is there's a 24 hours of cross stitch. When she does for every month, there is a like all of the holidays of the month. And so she has a holiday listed for each day, and you can look at the fun holiday and then try to like connect 12 of your stitching activities to 12 of the holidays. And for February, I think I can nail it. I think I have 14 or 15, like all related to something that I can stitch on. And so, like for example, I'll do the first and the second. So on the first and the second, so the first was National Freedom Day. And not only that, it was the beginning of Black History Month. And so for National Freedom Day, I started stitching on, or I stitched that day. I thought I was going to stitch 3 things that day. Did I stitch 3 things that day? I think I did. I think I worked on my Glitter Village and Sweetheart Hill on this. I started the Stone Street Stitchworks, the MLK sampler, which says, "The time is always right to do what is right." And that was a download that I downloaded earlier this year, and I want to say that it was free. It's been a while, and I didn't go back and look. I will, if I remember right, I will put it, if I remember, I will put it in here, the information about it. And so I decided to stitch on that. And so I chose this fabric. It was a piece, I don't know what it is. It's a linen, I think it's a Belfast linen. I want to say it's raw. I don't know where I got it. I don't remember ordering it. It's not cut like something I had ordered. I have no idea where I got it. It might have been in my stash, like my craft stash from 100 years ago. But that would surprise me because, first, maybe I bought it to embroider on. I say because I wasn't cross-stitching on linen when I was cross-stitching before. Anyway, this is what I got done. I got a good chunk of the border. I got like the border across the top. Yeah, that's the top. Across the top, and then started down the side. And it's not a very big sampler. It's only 93 by 131, so I'm thinking I could probably get it done this month. So I changed the colors a little bit. I had to alter the browns and the cream because the colors that, I think it was this creamy color or the medium brown was almost exactly the color of this. And I didn't care for the orangey color that was in it, and so I darkened mine to a red. One of the reds, the 30 something. So that's what I stitched on National Freedom Day and will be stitching on during Black History Month. So that's my fun little stitch there. I've wanted to stitch it for a while, and that gave me a good excuse to start it. And so I worked on that, and then on the second was National Hedgehog Day, and that says start a hedgehog calendar tag, because I got this hair in my brain that said that for my calendar, which is right here, that I want to see a little hedgehog tag right over here. So this month it's been nice because I have a couple of the days. I don't have all of them. I have 2. So today was Friday. That worked really well. I got February's done in January, and I got one of the other numbers done. I don't remember what my other tag was. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I got one of the other tags done, and I did those in January. This one, and I think this one. Nope, I lied. This one and this one. It was these 2. I do remember now. And so I got those done in January, so I get to enjoy this in February, and I get to enjoy this every Friday. And I think the other one I have done is Tuesday. Yeah. So 2 days out of the week I get to flip this portion. And I got to use this on the first. So as the tags are getting done, it is fun. This is a, Sans Serif pattern. This is what I work on the weekends, as I work on these tags, because it takes me 24 hours to finish a tag. Try as I may, I just can't stitch them any faster. And so in February I'm going to stitch this, and I was going to stitch the 3, which I may or may not do, because instead I decided to start a different tag. Because on National Hedgehog Day, which was also Groundhog Day, I got a crazy idea and decided I wanted to see a tag for that. And so I tried to find a groundhog tag. Sorry, my needle's falling off. That's what I'm fiddling with. I tried to find a groundhog tag pattern, but I couldn't. But I had like one of those little kits that you get I got it for my grandkids. And so I kind of adapted him, and look, isn't he cute? I think he's cute. Let me put something behind him there, since he's see-through, because they're stitched on perforated paper. And so there's my little groundhog slash hedgehog tag. So he is a hedgehog. He's not a groundhog for Groundhog's Day, but he is a hedgehog for National Hedgehog Day. And they gave him a little tall hat like that groundhog that's on the East Coast, whatever, Phil. I made him a hat like Phil, or like the groundhog that I think he should have a hat. And so, yeah, that's going to be my little tag, and that's what I worked on the 2nd, on National Groundhog Day. And so this weekend I will work on him, because, like I said, that's what I do on the weekends, as I work on this tag and some other little thing. Can't remember what it is. Anyway, that's what I work on the weekends. And so that was I just think he's adorable. It's going to be very fun when he's done. Yes, I keep stitching tags for these like random things that you don't get to use very often. Like the last one that I decided to stitch, and this is one that was actually one of Sam Sarah's, was this one. Which, how often am I going to get to use this one? But isn't it fun? And it was so fun to have it up on November 2nd when we voted. So anyway, that's my little calendar, and that's what I've been working on there. And so I have gone through the holidays on the calendar and come up with something to do stitch-wise for, I think, 15 out of the 28 days. Like, I couldn't figure out what to do on National Cream Cheese Brownie Day, or Wave Your Fingers at Your Neighbor Day. I mean, I can do those things, but I can't figure out how to attach a stitching to it. And I might do the 6th, which is tomorrow, which is eat ice cream for breakfast, because I actually made waffles today for my husband before he left, and I think tomorrow I can have waffles and ice cream for breakfast, which is so not healthy, but doesn't it sound good? We used to have that when I was a kid growing up. Not very often, but every once in a while my mom would make waffles, and we would have waffles and ice cream for dinner, and it was fabulous. I love breakfast for dinner. I really love breakfast for any day. Anyway, totally rattling on now. Anyway, so yesterday was Create a Vacuum Day, and I took that to read as like creating a space like a vacuum. And I was going to do only stitching and no housework after I got off of work yesterday, but my husband was home. And so instead of doing stitching while he was home, which I try not to do horribly too much, sorry, that thought just flew out of my head. Since he was home yesterday, I switched yesterday and today. So yesterday was Create a Vacuum Day, and today is Bubblegum Day, and today I was going to stitch on something pink, and instead I stitched on something pink yesterday, and today I'm going to do nothing after I get done doing this, because I'm already done working for the day. I'm going to do nothing but stitch, because I'm home by myself again. And so last night I started, sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought there. Last night I started this, the Sleeping Princess that I love, and I've loved. This was the second thing I bought when I got back into cross stitching, and I thought I was immediately going to start it because I love it so much, because this is me. I mean, my bed's not quite that tall, and I'm definitely not that thin or gorgeous, but this is me. Like, I have fibromyalgia, and I have always like teased, said to my husband and my kids, like, I'm the princess and the princess and the pea, because if there is one wrinkle in my sheets, if there's a bumpy pillow, or my pajamas are twisted up wonky, like I can't stand it. And in order to sleep, I've had to modify the bed, or my half of the bed, to where it has a ton of squishy on it, just to accommodate the body issues that I occasionally have. And so I think right now it has 8 inches of memory foam on top of the mattress and a bajillion pillows. So when I'm not feeling good, that's me lounging on my gigantic bed. Wish it was that gorgeous and full of pinkness, and that my hair was that long, and yeah, everything about it. Anyway, I did not want to stitch it on, like, I got this fabric, it's Beach Walk, 32 count Beach Walk, and it is very pretty, but every time I saw this, I wanted to see it on something light, like really light colored. And since pink right now is my favorite color, pink, I took a piece of fabric, and I had dyed a piece of fabric before. It doesn't matter because it's this color. I actually think it might have been a smidge lighter. But when I measured it out, like really sat down and measured out what I was going to, how I was going to stitch it, it was just barely, like a 1/2 inch at the top and a 1/2 inch at the bottom extra, which was not going to in any way, shape, or form give me enough to frame it, which I would like to do. If it had been 1.5 inches, yeah, I could have fudged that, because I could have sewed extra fabric on it to lace up the back. But with a 1/2 inch, the frame would have been right up to the stitching, which wasn't going to work for me. So this last week, I took a piece of white 32 count that I had, and I stitched it, and it may not show up very well. It's literally just barely pink. And so that's what I'm stitching on, and I was trying to find the center. And then, so yesterday, I started with my little Krynic up here at the top. Let's see, here's the picture. And so I started way up here, and I started working on the frame of the bed. And so yesterday, for Bubblegum Day, I stitched on something pink, which actually today's Bubblegum Day, but I've already explained all that. So that was my My Sleeping Princess. Oh, and my Sleeping Princess also, if you know, if you've heard about, I'm sure you've heard about Whipco at this point. Lots of people do it. It seems like there's a ton of people this year. But Whipco is Jessie Marie Does Stuff. It's her brainchild. And so she made a whip board, a works in progress board that looks like a bingo board, and you go in and you fill out. I should have grabbed mine because I actually put mine on paper. I don't know where it is right now. It's probably in on the desk. Anyway, you fill in the little squares with different projects or stitching things that you want to work on, and then set your goals. And then, like when you get a bingo, you know, down or straight across or diagonally, then if you want, you can reward yourself. And so the numbers that she called for this month were 4 and 20, and this was one of the ones that I had down. I think this was number 20. My number 20 was to start a new start. And this was my new start, and it also accomplished my working on something pink for my 24 hours of cross stitch holiday. And so that's what I worked on there. And then that kind of goes into one of my other whip goes, which was this, was I wanted to touch my glitter village. And so I got this little house done. I had the majority of the house done, but like I didn't have this tree done, I didn't have the fence done, I still had to fill in the snow. I wherever I'd stopped, I had like really weird random things. Like I had a smidge of this to finish and a couple little things over here, and I had some snow to finish, but like just random little stitches. And so I finished my house, and I got all the little snowflakes in, and I did I had the lacy part done, but I had to go in and put in the little center, which it's green. And I think I might have chosen the not wrong. I don't remember. As I was looking at it last night, though, I thought maybe I might want to see little tiny beads in there because I do really like little tiny beads. I like bling. But the kind of funny thing is this little tree is stitched in DMC's gold. And, you know, it's a very stiff little, what do you call it? Floss, sorry, to stitch with. And so I'm working along, and I got that in there, and I did this. But as I'm reading this, it's like, this says that this is lettuce leaf, and that this is 4-leaf clover, these two trees. And it's just like, but they look like the exact same color. And when I looked in my thing, in my little, because I had my floss, sorry, I'm looking for my little tags. I had my floss, you know, even my floss that comes on these little tags, I had them in the little floss away bags. And the color that I had in here with leaf lettuce, I just had it. Oh, there it is. Sorry, it's not very pretty. But this is what was in with this tag. So it's just like, but then when I did my other tree, this is what was in with this bag. 4-leaf clover. And I mean, I kept looking at them. It's like, maybe they're a smidge off and I'm just not seeing it. But, I mean, I just couldn't tell. But, you know, they're trees, so it doesn't matter. If they're, you know, if they're similar colors, that's okay. But then when I got I just used my picture for the back of that tag. And I have no idea what I did with it. Oh, how funny. I literally just had it. Where's my sampler? Where's my tag? There it is. It's hiding. So I got ready to start this one last night because this is the house that I'm going to do during February. It's going to go right up here. And as I'm looking at the little pattern, you know, the little color chart that goes with this, to start on the house, it says that it's stitched in lettuce leaf. And I'm like, this does not look like this thread at all. There's something wrong. And so I had to go out to my flosses and actually find a 4-leaf clover. And yes, this is 4-leaf clover. It is not lettuce leaf. This is lettuce leaf. not the same color, but that makes so much more sense for this house. So I'm very glad that I figured that out. I know that it probably is nothing. I mean, it's nothing to anybody else, but I was so thankful that I figured it out before I stitched this whole house in the wrong color. And so for February, this is my number 4 whip go, was my Glitter Village. And so I have already put in the time that I had scheduled for, because I did time and not like finishes or that, like, because you can do it for whatever you want as far as your bingo and your stitching. And so time-wise, I've already put in my hours that I had scheduled for, you know, to finish this. And so now I can work on this, and it's going to be great. My Glitter Village is getting some love during February. And so hopefully I'll get that house done. I still have a couple weeks left, so that'll be nice. And then the other thing that I've been working on this month, or for the last week and a half, or whatever it's been, it hasn't been a month, is I didn't grab the pattern, is this. It's the Plum Street Sampler, Sweetheart Hill. And I had the house done. I still haven't finished my door. Don't ask me why. I think because I can't find the color. I can't figure out what color I used on there, and it wasn't the color that was called for because I didn't have it. But I did start my hill. I got the hill in. I had to pull out a chunk of the right here. I had stitched house, and I had to pull all of that house out, which was challenging just because of the way I had stitched it. But so I've been working on the grass and the hill, and when I get tired of working on that, I started working on the flower, and I started working on the leaves. And even though the leaves are a different color than this hill, this is Oscar, and I can't remember what this one is. Avocado? Maybe? I don't remember, but they're so close I might have to go back in, because as I'm filling this in around these leaves, you really can't tell that the leaves are there. So I might have to go in and find either a darker color or a lighter color. But so I worked on that. I'm hoping to, my goal was to have it done by Valentine's Day, and I started it in February, or January. But I still have quite a bit to do, because I still have the rest of the hill, the people, and flowers. So unless I give this a lot of love here in the next week, it's not going to get done by Valentine's Day. But it would be nice. But that's the other thing that I've been working on. So those things that kept me busy, stitching wise, like I was surprised with my little planner. I've been keeping track of I don't keep track of how many stitches I put in, but I have been keeping track of how much time I put in, and yeah, it could be a full-time job. Like, I put in a lot. Sorry. So yeah. There's been a lot of days, but I must think that I have 100 hours in the day, because look, this was my plan for Monday, which was the day I started the MLK sampler. I was going to start the MLK sampler, work on Sleeping Princess, do Sweetheart Hill, and also stitch on something that I can't read backwards. Oh, exercise. That's because it's not a stitching thing. So I did work on the MLK sampler, and I did not work on Sleeping Princess, because I was still in the process. I had like picked out fabric and I had to cut it, so I did do it that day. So I guess technically I worked on it, but I did work on Sweetheart Hill for a couple hours. But when you add up all the time over the course of the week, it's like, maybe I should be doing something more productive. But this actually keeps me sane, so I can't begrudge it. But anyway, what my point was, I must think that I have 900 hours in the day, because by the time I get done working and doing the things that you need to do, I don't have time to work on 3 things, but I have like 3 to 4 things listed every day, and those are stitch things. That is not like life. That's not work and job and all that other good stuff. Oh, I completely forgot to grab my unicorn tapestry. Hang on a second. Sorry about that. It was downstairs, down next to the chair that I tried to leave one of my stitching downstairs in the chair where my husband and I watch TV, so that when he's watching TV that I can have something to keep my hands busy, because I don't watch TV very well when it's just TV. Anyway, so I've been working on Tiny Modernistas unicorn tapestry. And I had the tree and the unicorn were done last time, and I had started working on these. And this time I added, like I worked on some of the yellow, and I started adding in some of this scrolly part. And so this also got some love because this was something that I got last year that I then did not work on. And so I worked on getting this little edge in so I can start putting in some more flowers here and filling in the center. And I started doing some scrolly edge because I kind of wanted to see where the edge was going to be. And so that is this, woo, this little pattern, the Tiny Modernista Unicorn Tapestry. Sorry, it's having problems getting it in my fingers. They're having issues today. So yeah, so got a little bit of love there. That's my needle poking out. So those were the things that I stitched on for the last couple weeks, and like I said, apparently I stitched enough to have it be a job. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Stitch for a job, that would be fabulous. So this next week I'm going to be, or this next couple weeks I'm going to be working on my Sweetheart Hill and my Glitter Village because I would like to get this little house done by the end of February. And then the other thing that I would like, oh, Sleeping Princess. Oh, we are definitely working on the Sleeping Princess. I'm going to try to do that a little bit each day. And then the other thing I'm going to try to work on, because I don't want to be working on this in December, is, if you haven't joined me before and seen, I am working on this stocking from the Cross Stitch and Country Crafts from back in the 90s. I have always loved this stocking. Loved it, loved it, loved it, but never ever wanted to take the time to make it. Because then I would feel obligated to make stockings for my husband and all 6 of my kids and maybe my spouses, their spouses, but yeah, not anymore. Now I just want to make it for me. And I did show my husband the other ones and ask him which one he wants, and hopefully I'll get both of these done before we die. So I would like to give that some love this month. And so if you've seen my stocking before, I am working on this stocking. I have the top done. I used this topper, and I decided to take out this portion. And this is from one of their other stockings. This is my working copy. Well, the picture that's with the working copy. I'm putting in this window. I'm not putting in this little nativity. I'm just going to do a garland across the top. And I'm going to put in this window, and I've got the window down to where the bed is, because that is the same place that the sewing machine starts. And so here is my stocking. This is where I'm at. Finish this. I still have to put my numbers in here and have this little smidgy bit here. But I've got this window done, and then right here is where the sewing machine goes in. And so I would like to start getting the sewing machine worked in. So I'm going to start working on that a little bit each day, or at least a couple days a week. Probably not each day, probably more like a couple hours, 2 or 3 times a week, because I would like to have this done by Christmas, and I don't want to be working on this in November. I want to have it done in November so that I can use it. My girlfriend's stitching one for her daughter, and so we're kind of stitching them together as much as you can when you don't live in the same state and it's COVID. And so that's kind of fun because she's working on it too, and she's making adjustments. She was smart though. She stitched hers back when we were in our 20s for her and her husband, and then she stitched them for all her kids, and then as they have gotten married over the years, she has stitched them for her children's spouses, because she is very kind, because they take a long time to stitch. So that's what I'm up to. And I think that's everything. I didn't have any haul. Like, my biggest haul this week was my threads that came from Color and Cotton. And I love the colors this time. They're very much me colors, purples and pinks and blues. I love them. This one's called Daydream. Isn't that pretty? Daydream, dark truffle, dark indigo. I can't remember this color. Something. Oh, Dahlia. Dahlia and Delft Blue. But yeah, I love those colors. These are the colors you will see in my closet most. That and red. Not generally green. Not tons and tons of blue. Not going to see brown. Not going to see gray ever. The most nondescript color on the planet. Like, if you're going to be a color, be a color. Don't be gray. It's like a indecisive color. That's just my personal thoughts on it. That's how I feel. Just not my thing. So those are the things that I've been working on, and here's my little threads, and those are my plans. And I hope you're doing good and that you get lots of stitching in and that everybody is healthy, and that hopefully we all get vaccines pretty soon and that we stay healthy. My crew's healthy. Yeah, my crew's healthy right now. Everybody's healthy and I'm good, and we're just hanging out during the winter and stitching. And I plan on getting lots more stitching in. So I will talk to you in a couple weeks, and I will put in my mom's stuff before now. And maybe I'll put some pictures in at the end of everything that she's done. So happy stitching, and I will see you in a couple weeks. Bye-bye.